Okay, so good evening, everybody, and thank you for our program, Banking in the Digital Age. We are living our lives online, from banking to shopping to posting on social media, and proper internet security is more important than ever. So follow the simple strategies for safeguarding your information is going to be presented by Bank of America. And we have three wonderful people here that are going to present themselves and going to talk about, safeguarding your information.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us today. I'm very excited to be here. Just to introduce ourselves first, my name is Fernando Feliciano. I'm a financial center manager. Part of my role is to not only manage the day-to-day operations of a banking center, but to also provide guidance and to make sure our clients hit all their financial priorities. We're here with Mr. Robert Kirkland and Crystal Klossner.
Yes. And
Nope. She doesn't get a slide today.
I know. I'm Crystal Klossner, so I've been working for Bank of America for 13 years. Part of my job is educating others on financial literacy. I am a Better Money Habits ambassador, so I enjoy letting clients and others know how to protect themselves and how to do everyday banking.
And my name is Robert Kirkland. I'm the consumer banking market leader for the Collin County area, Dallas, DFW area. So that just means that I have a territory that I cover, and these two individuals are in my market. So we all work together closely. And it is very important to us that we reach out to the communities to help in any way that we can. And this is a really important one to us to help safeguard our clients and just everybody that's interested in protecting themselves against the scams and some of the fraud and things that are out there today. So that's why we're here today. Thank you for having us. We're glad to be here. So we'll go ahead and get started with the presentation.
Cool. So we're going to talk to you all about two main things today. First, we're going to start off with the 10 online and mobile security tips. So starting off with those, the first one right here is going to be the using strong passcodes. So using strong passcodes is very important to make sure that your information is secure. Bank of America really recommends that you use a strong passcode versus a password. Nowadays, instead of using a password where you have obviously any typical word, they want you to mostly combine different letters, numbers, to change it more to a code than a password. So we're kind of going to go back and forth between all the numbers here to make sure we understand all the 10.
So the difference is password means you have lots of crazy characters. The password will have all the other crazy characters, like the dollar. And
Right.
You can, and most of your companies are like wherever you're trying to set up a passcode with, they'll let you do the crazy numbers and like that sign of exclamation. But we kind of have an example up here of what it is. So the strong passcode, as you see on the screen, is on the left side. I don't know if you can see from back there, but I know online they can probably see it. But like the weak ones are ones that you're spelling something out, like somebody's name. You don't want to use like specific information that like to your birthday, social security numbers, anything like that. Mm-hmm. You want it to be something that kind of like means something to you that makes sense that you can remember. So first of all, you want to make sure we can remember it. A lot of times I set up the passcodes and I can't remember them tomorrow, but that's just me. But these are the ways that like you want to do it, and this is the strong passcode. The one on the right side is going to be an example of something that you don't want to do.
So these days, I think Microsoft and also Google, they also say they want to store the password. Is that okay? I mean, if you allow it to happen, or is it giving more powers to Google?
On the phone, you're talking about like when you're using your device, it tries to save it.
Device, yeah. When you give your passcode, and it says should be Google's passcode, and then you generally say yes, but sometimes I wonder, is it really? It's better for you to remember yourself rather than a whole system to remember.
So from my personal experience from doing that, I've never had an issue with it because what those companies will do, they'll also configure those passwords with a separate password where you have to use a lot of like biometrics. And another cool thing is it will tell you if those passwords are compromised. So it will tell you that, hey, we've seen doing a search that this password that you've been using has shown as compromised, and it'll recommend you to change the password as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Robert had kind of touched on it, but protecting your personal information, so you don't necessarily want to use your social, your date of birth, things like that in your passwords. That just makes it that if someone were to get that information, somebody close to you, it just makes it easier for them to be able to guess what your password could possibly be.
Right. Yeah, if you're a victim of identity theft or fraud, then they're going to have all your information. So you don't want them to have all that and your passwords, or be able to figure it out, because they're good at what they do, unfortunately, sometimes. And then the third one, be alert for suspicious emails. This is one of my favorite ones, just because it's frustrating to see that a lot of people do fall for these things. So there's all this type of things that people try to do to take advantage of people. And one of them is by sending you an email that makes you think that, I think the one I'm seeing now is you got a FedEx package waiting for you to come pick it up, and they try to get information out of you. So you'll see these emails that come through. Another big one in this day and age is they'll send you a text like that, and they'll try to get you enter information on a text. And then think about too that they'll impersonate the bank a lot of times. They'll impersonate us saying, "Oh, we're Bank of America. We need you to log into your account." We won't ask you to do that. So banks don't ask you to do
sometimes you get also this. You get an email with an attachment, the PDF file, saying that you're being charged. You ordered this amount, this thing, and it is costing $600 or whatever. So I never even opened it.
Don't open it, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what happens. So if you open the PDF file, what happens? It just
You're allowing
infected or what?
you can allow something into your device, and your mobile device, or if you're on your computer at home. That's how viruses and malware gets into your devices. One thing too, with the email that you can verify. So a best practice, you'll see it come over and it'll say Apple, for example, sent you this. It'll be a title line, but then you can click to open the true email that it came from, and if it'll be some crazy email that you never saw. If it's coming from a legit business, you'll be able to recognize that this is coming from Apple or this is coming from Bank of America, because it'll be in the actual description of what our email addresses are. So my personal email, all of us here, it's robertkirkland@bofa.com. So it's a legit email. You'll see the ones that say Apple or us, and it'll be a bunch of letters and numbers and ads.
Then you can.
Or a typo, something.
Yeah, there'll be a typo in there. It'll be spelled differently. So you just gotta be very careful these days. Because the criminals that do this, they'll take snapshots of things, they'll copy things, they'll make it look like it's a company that you trust, and that's how they get information, unfortunately, from our people that fall for those things. So you don't want to be involved in that.
Yeah, and you hit it spot on actually with the attachments. That's actually going to be our fourth kind of tip there. Kind of along with what Robert was saying, those emails, so obviously you want to make sure who's sending it to you, but as you said, you want to make sure what's inside them so you're not pressing. So a lot of times they'll have, hey, fill out this questionnaire, or press this link to recover any information that's saying it's missing. So a great tip on that is also look at the type of system, the type of file the actual attachment is. You never want to do anything that you don't recognize. JPEGs are common, but you'll see here .jar, .cpl, any of those, or an M after a .doc, which is a common one. But
Use PDF.
Exactly. So PDF, JPEGs, all those are common. But if you see something that doesn't look familiar on top of the suspicious, email or address or anything like that, you will definitely want to stay away from those.
And social media, I think everyone has at least one form of social media nowadays. You want to be careful with what you are putting on there. The more information you put out there, the easier it is for somebody to get to know you without actually knowing you, steal your identity, and just get more and more information to, again, try to guess those passwords if you're using your date of birth and things like that.
Well, that, and only too, and this is kind of a side note on social media, and I just want to kind of let the group know that it's just the best practice not to post your vacation when you're on vacation. Just meaning, you'll see a lot of people oh, I'm in Cabo, and they're taking pictures and stuff, and it's live in the moment. You're just telling people I'm not at home, I'm not going to be there for a while. So if somebody's watching you or trying to do something harmful, it's just not a good idea to post stuff like that. It's good to post your vacations, it's good and bad, right? But wait till you get back and say we had a great time while we were out of town. We're definitely home now though, so just something kind of a little side note on that to help protect you and make you be careful.
Yeah, just to actually add on to that, on social media, there's a lot of things that you can do versus a public and a private mode for your own information. You really only want to be friends with people that you know. Your big recommendation is to go on private mode for all those different social medias. So whatever you are posting, it is within your little circle.
So it's for Instagram and Facebook and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I've had too where one of my family members or a friend will request to be my friend again, but I'm already their friend, so somebody's already impersonating. So you gotta look up what those, you gotta look up what those things are like, I'm already friends with this person, and they're like, hey, how you been? I'm like, get out of here with that, like, you can't. So you gotta be careful of all these things, and then we're just trying to educate you all on all the different ways that people are trying to get in and take advantage and get into your information, because their end goal is just to get your information, and then steal from you, basically, so.
And a lot of things that we are focusing on is obviously have to do with the internet. These may be ways that you're clicking on links or whatever, but it's also whenever you're surfing the web, right? When you are surfing the web and you use Google and you see 1,000 different websites come up for what you're looking for, you want to make sure you click on the ones that are secure. For example, there are a lot that start off with HTTP, right? When you search up any website,
HTTPS.
exactly. So
Yes,
the S,
you already know.
which actually learned looking through over this this PowerPoint, is going to be stands for security, which adds those websites, those companies that do have the HTTPS domain, or means that they're just putting a little bit of extra security into the websites to make sure that you're protected whenever you're surfing through those.
And if you are signing on to other, like internets and different places, like Star, remember where you go now, they got Wi-Fi, right? There's Wi-Fi all over the place. So as you're, and this is another side note on that. So as you're logging onto some of these things too, it's best to have a VPN because it protects your information and it safeguards you from a lot of these things. When you log onto a public site like that, that's not somewhere like at your house. Again, you're opening yourself up, whatever's on your computer, whatever's on your mobile device. When you go into that, then you could become susceptible to certain things. So you just want to be careful. And I always recommend VPN that you have to log into first and then protect you from that point on. So.
And there's a lot of free VPNs out there that
Yeah.
anybody can use. It's usually thought of like as a paid service, but it's something that really anybody has access to.
Yeah.
So secure your smartphone. Highly recommend everyone have a password on their smartphone. Keep everything secure. Don't let that, if you lose your phone, someone has all of your information. A lot of people save their passwords in there, their card information. You need to be careful, protect yourself. Your passwords are the first key.
Right, and make sure it's a strong passcode, but then nowadays, like all the smartphones have biometrics. So the fingerprint, the facial recognition, all these things, if you have that option, you need to take advantage of it. The only way this one's gonna be able to get in there is if you pass out and then they're like, getting your fingerprint on your phone and you're not looking up or they're doing your face, and that's not likely to happen. But nobody can really hack that from somewhere else. Like it's not like you're gonna password, it could be in another state that you're trying to hack into. But like if you set up those biometrics, they're gonna be able to open your phone up without you actually doing it.
And that technology has become very advanced. I've seen a video where two identical twins are trying to log into their own phones, and they still won't be able to just because of how advanced it really is, where it locks into you're the only person who can get in there. So that's kind of just an additional step to setting up your password for your phone. A lot of times it makes you have both the regular password and biometrics.
See, typically the iPhones have both.
Exactly.
Face recognition and the password.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's two layers already that you're kind of having to get through to protect yourself there.
Right.
Great. So speaking on the phones, whenever somebody does get into your phone for some weird reason, you want to make sure you don't have any information in there, right? So a lot of times I'll see people who will take a picture of their social security card or things that they don't really carry on them usually. Anybody who gets into your phone will have access to that. So you want to avoid keeping any sort of credit card information, social security, date of birth, anything like that away off your phone from your notes or pictures like that. Because once somebody is in there, they have access to everything.
See, that's the thing, right? With your camera, sometimes you think it's a good backup to have your identity and all that taken a picture of. Right?
Yeah, see,
so
a lot
then what do? You don't keep that in the.
I wouldn't. A lot of people, they'll come to the bank and they show me their ID on their phone.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, can I use this instead? And that's a big reason why we don't allow for it, right? Because anyone could take that phone, right? You can look even the slightest like that person. You have to have it, in hand for us to use it. We UV light it. We make sure it's legitimate one. So you want to be careful what you're using, keeping on your phone. Because people will try to use that.
Well, another reason for that too is with the technology that's out there, like you can Photoshop anything now, right? So if you have your ID and I get your ID and I'm the fraudster, I can cut your picture out and put my picture right there and I just became you. So you got to be careful, like when they're saying put it on your phone, don't put account numbers in there. If you need to get your account number, go into log into the mobile app and it's there. But don't screenshot it. You just access it when you need it and then close it out. Make sure it's not still in there. So think before you download apps. That's another thing. So just make sure you're using your Play Store or whatever it is, Apple has, the App Store, yeah, I'm a Samsung.
He's an Android guy.
I'm an Android guy.
Oh, me too.
Yes, and I have to be an Apple user. It works, because they force me to. And my company phone is an Apple phone, which I hate, but either way, you want to download from trusted sources. Don't just go download some random app, because again, that's how people get into your stuff.
Yeah, those websites, the Play Store and the App Store won't allow any suspicious. They'll do their own security scan of those apps before they even allow them to be on the marketplace.
No, I think especially Apple, right? They do. I don't know about Android. Android, I think they put all sorts of stuff.
They know whatever. No, yeah, they do a great job of making sure everything is secure before you download it. But to his point, you don't want to download it from any websites or anything like that, but you are able to use your own apps. And then the last part, most important part, is going to make sure you keep your technology up to date. So that's going to be a lot of times your operating system on your computer or your phone. Those operating system updates are going to be the ones that update with the most latest security software or any malware issues or anything that's been going on there. That's what you want to make sure is updated most frequently. A lot of times you can set up automatic updates on those on your phone or on your computer to make sure you don't miss a beat.
And I'll just give you a word of advice. If you have an Apple device, if you're one of those, make sure when it's reminding you to go ahead and update that phone and update to the next security or the next software. There's security patches in there that are going to protect you. But the reason why it's so important, I'm telling you, is because if you don't do it on time, Apple gets mad at you, and they'll do it for you, but then it erases everything on your phone in most cases. So this happened in my company device where I lost all my contacts, I lost everything because the whole phone turned into basically a brand new phone. And I had to go and email everybody to get the phone numbers. I still don't have them all yet. This happened like a year ago. But my Android device, when it updates, if it updates for me, it saves everything the way it always was. It just updates the software for me, just so you know, just so everybody knows. I just want to throw that out there.
I'll second that.
All right, so those were those tips there. We're going to move on to digital wallets.
So what is a digital wallet exactly? So basically, it's something that is in your mobile device. And the phones nowadays, they come with all this stuff in there now. So you don't have to go and download it in most cases. If you bought a phone within the last, decade or so, it'll have that on there for you already. And the way it works just like a regular wallet that you have in your pocket. You can put several different cards in there. You can put your credit cards, your debit cards, whatever else you need that you're making payments with in there. And basically, it secures your information in there that you wouldn't know about until you went through this presentation unless you've done some research on it. They're super easy to use, and basically you can use it
Anywhere.
most places. I would say most anywhere you can use the card. Yeah, it's like we're probably between 95 to 98% of everywhere that it could be used. Some of the smaller places, like mom and pop shops, they may not have the technology. But most places that you go to on a daily basis, you'll be able to use this through the digital wallet and make your payments there. ATMs, pretty much everywhere that you use your card now.
Yep, so just to kind of run through, in stores, obviously, physically in store when you're making purchases, online, so your digital wallet will automatically let you use Apple Pay, use Samsung Pay when you're making purchases. In apps, when you're downloading apps within there. And then obviously, like you said, ATMs, make full cash out. You don't have to have your physical card anymore.
And that's pretty cool because you always have your phone with you, right? I don't know of anybody that just leaves today, leaves their phone. Well, I do all the time, but that's why I have a wife, because she remembers for me. Most of the time everybody's gonna have their phone with you. That's the last thing somebody's gonna leave behind is their phone. You'll leave everything else, but the phone because everybody's so connected to their devices these days. So, and it's nice to have that convenience to be able to do those things that way.
Cool. So how do you set it up? It's a lot of great, easy ways to do it. You can do it using the Apple Wallet app or the Samsung Google Wallet app within there, but also through a lot of the banking apps. It lets you directly put in the card information from the mobile app to the card. So there's two really easy ways to do it. You can either just snap a picture of it using whatever service app you use, or your banking app will just take you straight to it, but you just click 2 or 3 buttons and it'll be log on there.
Yeah, if you bank with Bank of America, it's very easy because the software there basically does everything for you. So it just basically, once you get your new account set up, you do your online and mobile banking. It asks you, would you like to go ahead and set up your digital wallet? You say yes, and it connects with whichever,
It's like
Apple
3
or
steps,
whatever for
yeah.
you, Apple or Google, and then because it knows the smart devices now, they're a smart device for a reason, and they can figure these things out. So it just automatically pulls it over, gets the information over, it makes you log in again, it does the biometric, sign in again as you go to your wallet to make sure it is you doing it. Once it does that, then it like I said, it does all the work for you, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you're all good to go. You go to your wallet and your phone, and the card is there, and it's ready to be used. It's awesome. So yeah.
Cool. Okay, so how do you pay with it once it's on your digital wallet? There are, a bunch of different ways to do it. Usually, whenever you are making payments, like I said earlier, it's once it's logged onto your wallet and you're making a purchase through an app or through a website, there's an option that instead of you're used to just inputting all 16 numbers of the debit card, putting the CVV in there, putting the expiration date. There's now ways where you can just skip all that, use your wallet, just press one button. It'll read your biometrics, you put in your password for your phone, and it'll skip all of that and put it straight in there. So there's like 1-2 tap payments now whenever you're doing the digital wallet, or like we said earlier, if you're retail shopping, you can just use the contactless symbol, hold your phone up to it, and then as we said earlier, is also using it in an app. So like Uber or DoorDash or Food or something. A lot of those have the Apple Pay or Samsung Pay integrated within their system, where you can just press it once and it'll save it, so you don't have to keep putting in your card number every time. Cool.
And the cool thing too is that like when you do use it to like point of sale or even at ATMs, it makes you go through a biometric verification again. It doesn't just, if somebody got your phone, they can't just go do it. You physically have to be there if you have your phone set up the highest security to where you have to do a face scan before it'll allow it to go through, or your thumbprint or fingerprint, whatever, before it'll allow it to go through. So everything is very secure. And a lot of people are afraid, and we'll get into that part in a little bit. People are afraid to put stuff in their phone or like do their wallet because they think, oh, my numbers are there. And we'll come to that point, but it's a secure, very secure way to shop.
So you prefer, like, it's better to have a digital wallet than use the cards?
Yes.
Is it because it is safer or because it's convenient?
It's both.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's both. And we're, like I said, we have a slide here that kind of details like how it works. And we just recently kind of learned ourselves like how the whole system actually works, which is really cool.
So it's actually gonna be the one right before this. This is more ways to pay using your phone.
Yeah, go ahead. It's mainly the form.
Yeah, it's the perks of your digital wallet. So you don't have to carry your physical wallet. If you're like Robert and you leave your stuff at home, you don't have your wife with you. You've got
Get out of trouble with
I got my
that.
wife and my phone.
I can't buy anything now.
Like we touched on, you can purchase things in store or online, very convenient. People put on their phone and their smartwatch. A lot of people use the smartwatch too, which is great. It just makes it more secure. Like we had talked about it, your data is encrypted. And then easy to withdraw money from our ATMs. Bank of America, we've updated all of our ATMs to be able to use the digital wallet, so make it very convenient.
And it's faster. It's faster when you're able to walk up and just scan it. And then also too, I don't know how many people we have online, but I was gonna say, how many people have ever like put your card into an ATM and then something happens with the ATM and it keeps your card and you're just done. And it doesn't give it back. Once it keeps it on it, and once our machines keep it, you're never getting it back. It's going to shred it because it doesn't want it to kick it back out to somebody that is not you. So as a security feature on all the ATMs that I know of, it keeps the card and they're destroyed. So now it's Friday night and you got to figure out what you're going to do for the weekend. My card is gone. So the cool thing about using the app is you scan on that thing, your card never goes anywhere. It's still in your wallet if you have that with you, if you still carry that, but you pay with this. So you don't have that threatening thing of like, what if I lose my card? So yeah.
So I have a quick question for you. So I just recently heard about a case of my friend that she lost her card and she couldn't use it until she got a new one. But she had the card in the wallet. Can she uses that one, or she will be able to use that?
She has it on the app? Yeah, she'll still be able to use them on the app.
Oh, okay. Is a different number?
When you reorder a new card, let's say if you did use it and you want to make sure that card number is not used again, it'll order you a new card with a new number, and it'll also update the digital card you have on your phone.
Okay.
So you can start technically using the new card that we have shipped to you immediately once you have it.
Okay.
And as soon as she reports it's stolen, it's going to create a new card. Like you're going to say replace the card. It's going to create a new card, new number, everything that's going to be shipped to her in the mail. She doesn't have to wait for them to arrive because we activate the one in the mobile app, or she could do it right there. and you can still continue to use it, and it's still going to pull from the same account, just with a different card number now.
So you will do it. I mean, the company giving the card will automatically change.
We'll change the number. So, and so there's a few different options. That's a good question, because like, let's say if my card is just damaged, and I've got this card number set up to pay all my bills automatically, and I want to change the number, you can just report it as a damaged card, and then we'll change the number. We'll just send you a new card, and nothing else will change. You'll just get a new, fresh card. If you report it lost or stolen, it's going to change the number because it has to. And a lot of people, I feel we have people come in and say, well, I don't want to change the number. Like, you have to, because somebody has this number, they're using it. You don't have a choice. Well, I got to go change all my bills. Yeah, you do. You got to go change all your auto pays and all this stuff. It's just part of the game. So that's why, again, your card number gets compromised. Just think about how much you hand out your card. You go to a restaurant, then where do they take it? The waitress or waiter takes it in the back somewhere. I don't know what they're doing with it. You don't know what they're doing. So like, you don't do that with digital wallet. We pay like that. And a lot of times they have the devices that come around now that you can put your card in, or you can tap it, like use that tap. And that's how card numbers get compromised. So just, again, want to
To Robert's point too, I had a customer, she didn't want to change the card because she had it hooked up to so many things. So she put it as damaged, and sure enough, next day she's back again for another time. So I'm like, this is why we have to do that, right? It's to protect it and make sure that nobody can use it anymore.
Right. And then when you, just as a side note too, when you activate the one, let's say if you did have it stolen and you have a new one on the way in the mail, when you activate the one in the digital part of it, it doesn't activate the one in the mail. So let's say somebody intercepts your mail and you've already activated it and you're using it already for a few days. If they try to use that one, it's going to make them activate it the way you would normally activate it with your passcodes or like your biometric or whatever. So they won't let them activate the card, and it's not going to activate it like you do when you activate it. They're separate.
There's separate numbers.
Yeah.
Which we're kind of getting into anyway, it's kind of like having two cards. So you were mentioning as to why we have the digital wallets, why it's more secure. One great point to it is that a virtual card number that replaces your sensitive card information in a transaction. So what does that mean? The card that we have, your physical card, whenever you use your payments or anything on the digital card, when we send it to the merchant's getting a completely different card number. So we change the card number to make sure that the merchant's only using this one specific card number and it can't be replaced again. That's one of the things that we were talking about before. That's super neat. That whenever you use a digital card, that digital card now going to be everywhere on the internet, right? But no, it's only going to be specific to a transaction or to a merchant. It'll change the number again.
So you're basically encrypting.
Exactly.
It's encrypted, yeah. Yep, that's exactly right.
So another great use for the digital wallet is going to be obviously the biometrics, right? The extra safety of whenever, you never have to type a password when you're swiping your debit card, right? So anybody can swipe your debit card, but it's an extra step of security whenever you're using the tap to pay or, whenever you're doing with the digital card, that you're having to put your biometrics or your password to make sure that it's just an extra layer of security.
Think about germs too. We had a pandemic a couple of years ago, right? Where like nobody want to touch anything. So that's where a lot of this stuff kind of coming into like really being used. And now it's just a way of life. And think about like you hand somebody your card. I don't know what you got. I don't know if you got the flu. I don't know what you have to say. And you're gonna hand my card back to me after you've been touching on it over there. If I tap, I don't ever have to touch you. I just like tap it and I'll pay for myself and I'm gone. So just think about that too. I mean, that's just another little thing we threw in there, but like I threw in just for like I'm kind of a germ freak anyway. I don't want to get smells of germs, so I don't want to be handing my card back and forth. So that's just another benefit of using digital options. Yes.
Great. So I think we are finished up here. I think we have a little bit of room for some question and answer. If you have any, we'd love to.
Yeah, but the debit card you're saying, like in some countries, like in India, if you use a debit card or credit card, they will ask for your passport.
They'll ask you for your password?
Yeah. So you have to have a passport or a 4-digit passport or something.
Oh, your PIN.
PIN number.
PIN, sorry, yeah, PIN. So that's a very extra layer of security.
So
I think it is very inconvenient sort of thing. You get so this.
Well, you type it in. Do you type it in? Oh, you don't tell it to a person though. Okay.
Yeah, you don't.
I thought they were asking.
They just give you the thing. So then you just put in your phone number, numeric code.
Right.
So then that's kind of interesting. And then you get a message saying that this transaction is on.
Right. Yeah. And then you got to be careful. They have scanners and stuff like that. Like you go to the gas pumps, if you're using cards, they have scanners that read the numbers, read the passcode you're putting in. You gotta be careful of all that stuff. If you,
Yeah, but
you can
definitely
avoid all that with,
Digital wallet is very easy.
yeah.
Except that if you lose your, if you use your smartphone, then you're.
Yeah, if you lose your smartphone, you got more problems in your car.
Why you pass it on
You
to
have
them?
to-
That's like the second
Just
brain.
last week I forgot my phone, and then I just walked out, and then suddenly then there was somebody was handling it, and they're saying, no, we didn't know what to do, because they don't know what to do. I thought they would be at the reception, but anyway, before that but it says something, if you just, for example, when you lose it, you lose your smartphone, that's another thing. So what do you do? What's your recommendation?
If you lose your phone,
Yeah.
so in that case, you obviously
Security point.
you're going to get another phone. I mean, you just gotta. That's where you work with your phone provider. You let them know the phone is lost, or you go usually to the store Best Buy or whoever you have to, and they'll cancel everything. They'll shut the phone down, and then that way nobody can use that phone, and nothing on that device will be able to be used. So they can lock it down, and then you just set everything up on the new phone.
And obviously, a lot of the security features are uploaded to the cloud. So if you do a transfer, you're not going to lose everything. But if I was obviously one of the
So you need to back up to cloud.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Because that way, I mean, if you think about it, that's why you want to keep all your information locked in the maker in making active use.
Yeah.
Because that you can have someone from Bank of America there, but yeah, so all of that is going to be different. Based on whatever phone you have, so you never use a password, so wherever you are, whatever piece of technology you're using, it's still going to be secure.
And Samsung has a cloud too. Just, it's not called a cloud. It's called something else.
We never talk about
I don't know what it's called. It just save the data.
So I have a question, let's say that we have a patron and they don't know how to set up their wallet in their phone. Can we tell them to go to the Bank of America?
Yes.
Well, yeah, so you have people who can assist them there?
100%.
That's what we do.
That's
Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
do.
Oh, okay, oh, that's wonderful.
Every
As long
day.
as they own account, Bank of America.
Yes. Yes, that's right. I don't know if they bring it to the Chase app or not.
Yeah.
I'd give it a shot.
Which we have, I've had to do that, right? Yeah, they use other ones, but no, there's demos and everything too on our website.
Then you can YouTube and pretty much anything nowadays too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, there are people who are afraid and they prefer to have face-to-face
Yeah, of course.
interaction.
Oh yeah. That's what we're there for.
We
Yeah.
have the being able to educate,
Yeah.
show them how. So once we do, we see their eyes light up, it's like, oh, it's succeeded.
Yeah, that's what we're there for, and that's why we are still in financial centers. That's why even in the digital age, we have to have people that can help clients. So we have a lot of specialists that are trained on like the ins and outs of the app, so that way they can easily make the customer feel comfortable as they come in to work with us. And we still have people that I still run across people every once in a while that haven't even used an ATM before. They're still scared of that because, to your point, we want people to help us. Like if I've never done it before, I'm scared. I don't want to use it. I've always come here to get my cash from that teller over there, and I'm always going to do that. But then if you show me the ATM on how easy it is, and then they start using that, and then they'll wait for you next time. Hey, I'm using this now. So it's weird because as far advanced as we are, not everybody's where we're at. So that's a good question. But yeah, anytime that we need anything is needed as far as like teaching clients, the technology, or if they're uncomfortable with something, that's what we're here for.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. The internet is being quiet. We
There's-
do have a couple of people watching, but they're not interested in any questions.
No questions?
No.
Okay.
In the chat.
I did ask.
Awesome.
All right. Well, if there's no further questions, I want to thank you again for having us.